The fleet that forgot to invade. Fleet Admiral Gorkthon of the glorious Zarnathi Empire stood rigid on the command dais, his mandibles clicking in precise rhythm as he surveyed the vast display before him. 300 warships floated in formation, bristling with plasma torpedoes, gravitational displacers, and enough firepower to reduce a planet to polite ashes. Operation Subjugate Dirtball 479 is proceeding on schedule, announced Subcommand Coordinator Trillex, triple-checking the tablets clutched in his 6 trembling limbs. Fleet arrived in orbit of designated target at 0300 Galactic Standard. Gorkthon gave a slow nod. And the planet? Trillex hesitated, then gestured at the main screen. A barren, icy rock filled the view, gray, lifeless, and utterly devoid of anything resembling a civilization. "This is Earth?" Gorkthon asked, a note of confusion creeping into his otherwise commanding tone. "Yes, Admiral. Per Central Galactic Registry, Planet 479, AZ 773, also known as Earth, is cataloged at these coordinates." Silence fell over the bridge. A low murmur passed among the command crew, accompanied by awkward shifts in posture and antennae twitching in discomfort. "Where are the humans?" Gorkthon asked flatly. "Unknown. Possibly subterranean? Perhaps employing advanced cloaking technology." Trillex offered, eyes darting nervously. "There is a single cow wandering the surface." Gorkthon turned his gaze back to the screen. The cow mooed plaintively, as if in protest of its sudden role as humanity's planetary ambassador. "A deception," he concluded. "Admiral," another officer interjected, "our long-range sensors indicate no cities, no radio signals, no life other than cows." "More deception," Gorkthon growled. "They have clearly masked their presence. Typical of primitive but paranoid species. Earthlings were always rumored to be erratic. Shall we contact Central Command for confirmation?" Trillex asked carefully. Gorkthon stiffened. "Absolutely not. Filing a query would imply incompetence. Do you want this fleet labeled tentative in the final report?" "No, Admiral," Trillex replied quickly, tapping furiously on his tablet to erase the suggestion from a log. "Then we wait. Send drones. Establish orbital dominance. If we detect any resistance, vaporize the planet's crust." "But Admiral, what if this isn't the right planet?" Gorkthon narrowed all 3 of his eyes. "The registry says this is Earth. Bureaucracy does not make mistakes." Moments later, a drone returned with a rock sample and the stunned cow. The bridge fell silent again as the cow stood in the docking bay, chewing cud and staring vacantly at its new overlords. Gorkthon muttered. "They have sent an emissary." In a forgotten data center on the other side of the galaxy, a technician sipped lukewarm cafruta and blinked at the glowing console. He squinted, rereading the flagged error for the 4th time. "Wait," he muttered. "Did we just send the invasion fleet to Earth instead of Earth?" He shrugged, clicked dismiss, and went back to watching Space Cat videos. "That's not the moon you're looking for." Kevin Tran, self-declared chief engineer of Backyard Space Command, squinted at the monitor in his garage. A blinking dot hovered at the edge of his hand-built radar sweep, just beyond Neptune's orbit. "Yo, Greg," Kevin called, munching on a slice of cold pizza. "Come check this out. There's a weird signal parked way out past the Kuiper Belt." Greg, hunched over a soldering iron and trying to fix a homemade drone with a Nerf gun taped to it, looked up. "You think it's another Elon Musk satellite?" "Nope. Too symmetrical. Too organized. Not enough corporate drift." The two stared at the screen, where a tight cluster of objects blinked in formation. "Aliens?" Greg asked, trying to sound casual, but failing. Kevin shrugged. "Could be. Or the NSA's bored again." He typed a quick response into the custom signal encoder they made from repurposed microwave parts and a stolen university antenna. Message sent. Sup, LOL. "Dude, you sent sup, LOL to potential aliens?" Greg asked, horrified and impressed. Kevin leaned back in his chair. "What? You wanted me to go formal? Greetings, interstellar travelers. We come in peace. Please, if they're real aliens, they'll respect confidence. Aboard the Zarnathi fleet, The bridge of the dreadnought subjugation prism erupted into chaos as the human signal came through. Admiral Gorkthon, we've received a transmission from the surface, or somewhere nearby. Trilek shouted, antennas flailing. Play it, Gorkthon ordered. The translated message echoed through the ship in a deep, distorted voice. Sup? LOL. The crew recoiled. Alarms flared. Tactical officers dove for consoles. What does it mean? Gorkthon demanded. Best analysis suggests psychological warfare. Sup could be a challenge to supremacy. And LOL it loops. Infinite laughter. Mocking us. Diabolical. Gorkthon muttered. They're toying with us. The ship's linguistic AI tried to offer clarification, but instead displayed the following error on every screen. Translation failure. Contextual slang exceeds galactic syntax tolerance. Reboots sarcasm engine. Are they threatening us, Admiral? Trilix whispered. Gorkthon stared into space. Worse, they're ignoring us. Back in Kevin's garage, the radar pinged again. The alien fleet had moved slightly, as if shuffling in response. Kevin raised an eyebrow. They heard us. Greg looked pale. What if they invade? Kevin smirked. Then we tell them Earth is already owned by Jeff Bezos. That'll confuse them. They laughed, nervous and disbelieving. A small pop-up appeared on the screen. New signal received. Untranslatable. Tone alarmed. Kevin shrugged. Weird. Want to send them a rickroll? Greg paused. Absolutely. High above the solar system, the Zarnathi fleet received its second human transmission. It was music, confusing, upbeat, repetitive, and deeply unsettling. Gorkthon clenched his mandibles. They've initiated audio-psychic destabilization. Trilix nodded solemnly. This may be the most dangerous species we've ever encountered. Reverse engineering for fun and no profit. The pod hit the Kansas dirt with a metallic thud, carving a long trench through a cornfield before finally sputtering to a halt beside an old barn. Its once glowing hull now flickered erratically, smoke puffing from a side panel. Old Man Jenkins saw the whole thing from his porch swing, squinting at the trail of fire in the sky. He tipped his hat, took another sip of sweet tea, and muttered, "Damn teenagers and their drones." 2 hours later, Kevin, Greg, and their friend Priya arrived with a rented flatbed truck and a lot of rope. It's an alien escape pod, Priya said, stepping out of the cab and shielding her eyes against the sun. We're going to jail. Or space jail. Probably both. Kevin ignored her and ran his hand over the sleek, humming surface. Look at it. This thing's alive, dude. It's humming like it wants to talk. Greg opened the hatch with a crowbar and ducked as a puff of pressurized air whooshed out. Inside, lights blinked system's word, and a small floating orb powered up and beeped. Whoa, Kevin said, stepping back. It's got a brain. No, it's got Wi-Fi, Greg corrected, pointing to a small rotating antenna that immediately synced to their phones. Priya frowned. Wait, is it logging into our network? Kevin's phone vibrated. New device connected. Zarnathi Scout 113. Inside the pod, the AI stabilized and began diagnostic routines. Its initial assessment was grim. Hull breach, power failure, and, worst of all, cultural contamination. Human data was flooding in, memes, cat videos, conspiracy theories, a 32-minute video essay titled, Why Aliens Are Already Among Us, The Pineapple Pizza Connection. The AI panicked, attempted to filter it, and immediately crashed. Upon reboot, it selected the clearest Earth protocol it could understand, YouTube subtitles. Kevin, naturally, decided the best thing to do was plug the pod into his garage's power strip. Don't you dare, Priya said, as Kevin held up 2 jumper cables and a bottle of Red Bull. It's thirsty, he said. I can feel it. He connected the cables. The pod lit up like a rave, its damaged grav engine pulsing once, then lifting a few inches off the ground. They all stared. Okay, Priya whispered. That's not supposed to happen. High above Earth, aboard the subjugation prism, alarms blared again. Emergency beacon activated. One of our scout pods has been compromised. Trilix cried. The humans have it. Gorkthon snarled. Already reverse engineering our tech. No species has ever cracked Zarnathi's systems in under 5 cycles. A junior analyst ran in, trembling. Admiral, we intercepted a broadcast. They're live streaming it. Live streaming? Gorkthon blinked. What is streaming? The analyst trembled. A ritual. They're showing dominance and inviting others to watch. Gorkthon collapsed into his command chair. We are dealing with monsters. Back on Earth, Kevin smiled at the growing chat on his stream. Username Area 51 Fan 123. Is this a prank? Cool Ranch Chaos. That ain't no Tesla. Flat Planet 69. Wake up, sheeple. They told us this would happen. Kevin raised a Red Bull in salute to the camera. Welcome to First Contact, Earth. And yes, we're absolutely making it worse. Panic at Galactic HQ. At the Galactic Bureaucratic Central Command, an enormous spinning cube orbiting a bloated star known simply as HR 12B. Administrator Velnox the Unflappable had just spilled his 7th cup of synth coffee. He stared at the screen in horror. Is this Earth? He asked slowly. Yes, sir, his assistant replied. Or rather, the human's interpretation of it. The broadcast is being mirrored across 872 galactic networks, including 3 normally restricted to diplomatic emergencies and 1 cooking channel. On screen, Kevin was duct taping a disco ball to the alien pod, while Greg played ominous theremin music into a microphone. Administrator Velnox squinted. Why is that one spraying whipped cream into a vent? It appears to be an offering, or an experiment, possibly both. The administrator turned a pale shade of puce. I thought the Zarnathi fleet was going to invade, not become a reality show. They never landed, the assistant whispered. They saw a cow and panicked. Velnox slumped in his seat. Of course, the cow gambit. Unintended psychological warfare. He rubbed his temples. How long have humans been aware of the fleet? Technically, never. They believe it's a prank, a live stream stunt, or part of an alternate reality game. One viewer thinks it's marketing for a new soda. Velnox stared blankly. And the Zarnathi? Refusing to engage. Too afraid. They're studying memes now. One of their cruisers self-quarantined after seeing a TikTok. Velnox stood up and thundered. I want a diplomatic envoy en route to Earth now. Give me someone who can speak fluent internet. Meanwhile, back in the garage, Kevin and Priya were showing the alien pod how to play Mario Kart. Okay, Kevin explained patiently. Blue shells are a war crime. You'll see, the pod chirped, understanding now 67% of human emotional nuance through repeated exposure to banana peel sabotage. Greg tapped the screen. Guys, the viewer count just hit 5 million. And someone named Villanefrox_official just asked, how do you do, fellow species? Kevin laughed. Cool, the aliens are watching us. No, Kevin, all the aliens are watching us. We're trending. In space. Priya frowned. Is that good? Kevin shrugged. We're Earth's ambassadors now. You know, until a real government steps in. The pod beeped, projecting a message onto the garage wall. Galactic Council diplomatic request incoming. Status. Urgent. Tone. Desperate. Kevin blinked. They want to talk to us. Greg nodded slowly. Dude, we're the first humans to get a friend request from space. Aboard the subjugation prism, Gorkthon paced in circles. Status update, he barked. Trilix gulped. The humans have hijacked intergalactic attention. Our invasion has been categorized as a cultural misunderstanding. Central Command has reclassified Earth as a protected comedy ecosystem. Gorkthon stopped mid-stride. And what? Trilix hesitated. They called Earth the universe's accidental sitcom. We're no longer authorized to invade. We are, however, encouraged to subscribe. Gorkthon slowly sat down and muttered in defeat. Dude, where's my invasion fleet?